Hello, everyone. Welcome to my show. I'm Whitney Coburn. I'm a love coach and owner of Heart Hunters Love Coaching. My website is whitneylovecoach.com, so you can check me out. And today I'm going to be talking about something that is the pivotal point of any relationship, and that's communication. And today specifically, I'm going to be talking to all you women out there about how to speak to your man so that he'll hear you and that you can get what you want from that communication. So if you have any kind of issues in your relationship, most commonly it's about money or sex, kids, who the other person is talking to, what they're doing, behaviors that bother you, or about commitment or where the relationship is going. These can all be very tricky topics for us to talk about. And the main problem with this is that most of us never really learned conscious communication skills. What the communication skills that we have been instilled in us unintentionally from our childhood, from our past, from our pains, from our triggers, and most of us just react. And I believe that there's a big difference between responding and reacting. Responding is unconscious. It's when we get word vomit and the words just flow out and you just say something that later you regret or that has the opposite effect that you want it to have. And this negative communication can really push people away, exacerbate problems. And there are ways that you can use communication to resolve your problems, to get through it, to have the kind of loving, respectful relationship that we all yearn for, where you feel seen and heard and loved. And you can work through the very emotional and difficult moments. I am going to be hosting a training all about this. It's a live training. It's going to be in the end of February, dates to be confirmed, but it's on my website if you want to sign up. So let's begin. Most women don't really understand some of the nuances with men. And what I'm going to teach you is going to help you to be a better listener, a more honest communicator, more clear, and to be able to take responsibility for your side of the communication, because communication is always a two-way street. So what I hear from men is that a lot of times they don't mind what their partner is trying to say to them. They don't mind that she's offering advice, offering wisdom, making a comment or critique about something. It's not the content that's the problem, it's how you say it. And we can all understand this just with a simple example. If I say, oh, I'm doing fine today, it's very different than I'm fine today. So we all know that the tone and the words that we use can make a very big difference. And I think this realization, I've seen it make a huge difference for many of my clients, just this one realization of how to set the tone for their conversation. So I'm going to teach you guys a little acronym called GREAT. And you just want to remember that when you are communicating to your man, no matter what the issue is, no matter how minor or serious, you want to offer them these items. So the acronym GREAT stands for gratitude, respect, encouragement, approval, and trust. I'm going to get into a little bit more detail about them, but I'm curious for you to check in with your own reaction to that. If you have a gut reaction like, well, I don't trust him, or I don't respect him, or how can I be grateful when he's not doing X, Y, and Z? This is normal. I'm going to encourage you to try to find the positives. If you are having struggles in your relationship and there's a lot of negative, I'm sure that there is some sort of positive in there, or else you wouldn't be in this relationship. And on that note, if you are in any kind of abusive or violent or dangerous situation, it's important that you take steps to get out of that. There are helplines and shelters and places you can go if you're in that kind of relationship. But every relationship will have problems that come up from now and then. So these items are not just nice to haves. It's not just icing on the cake for you to show some gratitude while you're trying to communicate with your partner. It's actually a foundational basic need. And without it, your man will not hear you. And he will not, therefore, listen and take the advice or take the action that you're hoping that he takes. So it's really important to understand how to lay this groundwork. So the first one is gratitude. And it's really helpful to practice gratitude as often as possible. Every time that your partner unloads the dishwasher, say thank you. Every time they do something that, even if they're supposed to do it, they make your coffee for you, they pick up something that needs to be picked up, say thank you, express your gratitude. It feels good, it creates a loving connection, and it keeps things positive. And there are going to be times when someone disappoints you and you don't feel grateful in that moment, but you can find something else that you are grateful for. The next is respect. And this is a huge one. I've seen women that talk to their men very disrespectfully. They say things like, oh my gosh, you're going to wear that? You look awful. And it's just disrespectful. We need to appreciate our partner's needs and desires and concerns and respect those. And if you're having a hard time with that, this is something that coaching and working with a psychologist or a psychiatrist, a therapist can help you work through, because these are very tricky. Sometimes we are in a state of confusion because we don't know if we should stay or go, or if the relationship is worth proceeding, if you're having a really hard time respecting your partner. But it is foundational, it's necessary, and you'll never have the loving relationship that you want if you don't feel and express and show respect to your partner. And this is also just human nature. It's not just men. Obviously, we women want to be respected as well. And when we're not respected, we shut down, we leave, we turn away, we turn into violent communication, which could be yelling, blaming, accusing, or a number of unhealthy habits. So it's important for you to understand and respect what's important to him. And this can be shown as admiration. Wow, babe, I'm so proud of you that you did that. It can be thoughtfulness. Hey, babe, I was on my way home and I thought of you and I got this thing that you really like because I was thinking about you. You can even just use the word respect and just say, wow, babe, I really respect you for that decision. And I challenge you to find the situations where you can use this. The more you trickle in positivity, the easier the hard conversations will become. And these tips also work with raising children. So a lot of this you can apply to your children as well. You want to show your children respect. You want to show your children gratitude for the things that you're grateful for in the moment that you're grateful for them. And then when they do something you're not grateful for, all of your communication is not negative towards them. You're sprinkling in positive as well as the, we'll say, constructive versus negative. All right, so again, with the acronym GREAT, we have gratitude, respect, encouragement. All men in relationship, from what I've seen, are looking for support. They're looking for a supportive partner that supports their hopes, dreams, and whatever they want to accomplish. And there's a really interesting study that was done in schools where they tested in classrooms kids that got a lot of encouragement and kids that didn't get the encouragement. And the results were staggering, vastly different results just by having some encouragement, someone that believes in you. So I challenge you to find a way to believe in your partner. Open up the lines of communication. If you don't fully understand a project and so you can't be behind it, work with him to understand it till you can get to a point where you do support and encourage it. Or, to work through if it's something that's not going to work for you guys, then, find something that will. But there's nothing that will crush a man's spirit more than a woman that puts him down and criticizes. If you come to a man like he's the problem or that he's causing the problem, the conversation's going to end. It's going to hit a dead end, and it's either going to stop or it's going to turn violent or negative. And I say violent in even our words. Our words can be violent. And I'm all about nonviolent communication, conscious communication. Your encouragement will inspire him to be better. So let's say I want my man to quit smoking. If I criticize him every day and say, that's bad for you. I can't believe you're still doing that. That's disgusting. It really grosses me out. Why are you still doing that? Don't you have willpower? That's not going to encourage him or inspire him to quit. That is what men call nagging. When you just say the same thing over and over again and he doesn't hear you and he doesn't take action and you just keep saying it. And all it sounds like is criticism and negativity to him. Instead, what you'd want to do is to frame that in a positive way, provide him with gratitude, respect, encouragement, and say something like, babe, I really respect the work that you're doing. I know you work really hard and I appreciate that. I appreciate that you are giving to me and the family. That's setting the tone with respect and gratitude. And with encouragement, you say, you want to frame it in a positive way. I really want to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to be with you. I want you to live a long, healthy life. I'm willing to support you in any way that I can to help you quit smoking. It would just mean the world to me if you would quit. I would be so grateful, and I know you can do it. I really believe in you. I know it's going to be hard, but how can I support you in this? And I promise you that that will land very differently than the first example. So the A in great is approval. Approving goes beyond encouraging him. Approval can be difficult, especially if you're at a point in your relationship where things are often negative. It can be very hard because all you see are the negatives. But I challenge you to find ways of approving of even the little things so that, again, you can sprinkle in the positivity with the constructive communication. And this will require patience and acceptance. And what I find is a lot of people not only are challenged with this with their partner, but even treating themselves with approval, patience, and acceptance. So many women, many people need to start there. If you are constantly criticizing yourself, if you're constantly not accepting yourself, if you look in the mirror and hate yourself, I mean, this is not how we want to live. It's not how we want to feel. And there are ways that you can change your mindset without even having to change your body or change your circumstances. Just by changing your mindset, you can be a whole lot happier and have a whole lot more self-love and patience and acceptance with yourself, and then be able to offer that to your partner and others. This often the disapproval will look like a blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but this. And so anytime that someone says the word, but, I love you, but you're doing great, but the other person will only hear what's after that but. So they'll only hear the negative. And so I challenge you to let go of those buts. It sounds funny, but stay with me here. So if you let go of that inclination to say, this is really good, but this is bad, just start by focusing on what's really good. And then we can start to encourage and ask them to do the thing that you want them to do, to get what you want from the relationship, whether that's to feel a different way, to feel more loved, to feel less lonely, or whether it's to get him to change a behavior, or whether it's to get him to commit. All of these things can be discussed in this healthy, conscious way to get the result you want. So even if he's not doing everything right, you will have a better chance of getting what you want if you show approval. Your man doesn't want to feel like he does everything wrong. If you are talking to your man often about what he's doing wrong and you're saying, well, you're doing it wrong, it's going to be really annoying. And your guy, depending on his temperament, will either become irate and angry and lash out at you, or become angry and stuff it down and be resentful, or just completely shut down and back away and be numb and not communicate with you. So if you have a man that's doing any of those things, the good news is you have power. You have power to change the dynamic of your relationship. You have power to change the way that you communicate with each other and the way that you feel and the way that he treats you without making him change. Because we all know that you cannot change another person. You can only change yourself. But the beautiful part about changing things about yourself or how you act or how you communicate is that all of a sudden the people in your life and the things in your life, they all start to change around you for the better as well. All right, and our final word in the acronym GREAT is trust. So trust implies that you believe in your heart that he's truthful, honorable, fair, and basically has good qualities. Oh, this can be tough if trust has been broken in the past. And this is something that needs to be dealt with head on, not avoided. So if you have sneaking suspicions and you're not sure if you should confront your partner about it or not, the answer is you should definitely talk to your partner about it. But we should be talking to our partners within this framework of healthy, conscious communication, offering them gratitude, respect, encouragement, acceptance, and trust. And being honest, also being honest, speaking from your gut and your intuition. Let's say your man's been coming home late and you're worried about what's going on and you're stewing and you're afraid and you're getting anxiety and you don't know how to talk about it. You don't know how to approach him. You still need to talk about it. You need to approach him. But what you want to do is do not come at him blaming and accusing. He will shut down or run away or get angry. That's not the answer. So how do you say this? You use I statements. I'm a big fan of I statements. I teach them to everyone. Like I said, you can't change someone else. You can't tell them how to feel or tell them how not to feel. You can only explain your experience to someone. So when you're communicating with someone, rather than say, you have been coming home late, you say, I have been feeling lonely at home at night. I have been feeling worried at night, not knowing where you are. And then just ask them, so what's going on? What can you do about this? Another important point while we're talking about this potential difficult conversation is your timing. Another really important step that can change the dynamic of all your communication is timing. And the simple way to make sure that your timing is good is to ask your partner. Just ask them. You want to ask permission. You want to say, hey, love, I have something that's on my mind that I want to talk to you about. Can we do that now? Is now a good time? And if they say no, it's not worth it to push the issue because they're already resistant. They're already not in the mood for it. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they have work on their mind. Could be a number of things. So you don't want to push it. You want to just let it go, give it at least 24 hours, and then bring it up again. And if they have a pattern of continuously turning you down, then the issue becomes not the thing that you wanted to talk about, but the first most important issue is that they're not listening to you, that they're not having this conversation. And so you want to say to them, I feel, always starting with I feel is always acceptable, always a good start. I feel, and then share with them the emotion that you feel. I feel lonely when you don't come home from work. And without accusing or anything, you're just saying how you feel and let them talk and explain. And as they start to talk about it, then you can get to the bottom of it. You can continue to ask questions. But you can see by setting this tone, instead of it becoming a yelling match where, you know, why are you blaming me and accusing me of something I didn't do? Why, you know, it has a way of turning into a yelling match. And that's what we want to avoid, because nothing is going to, it's just not going to be effective when communication turns into that. So these are just a few tips. There's a whole lot more in the course that I offer on conscious communication, how to talk to your man to get what you want. But I would love to hear from you if you start to implement any of these or if you have any questions. I'm also going to be doing a part 2 of this video where we're going to get into a little bit more detail of keys to a successful conversation and some more examples of how to frame your difficult conversations. So again, you can find my information and this course at whitneylovecoach.com. Thanks so much.